allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we're grateful for the opportunity we have to serve the city of Riverton at this time. We ask that it please help us that we can have our minds be enlightened, that we can be aware of the needs of the citizens of this great city, and that we can remember our role as representatives and our role as servants of the people. We thank Thee for the opportunity to serve, and we ask that it please bless us tonight, that we can be wise and be able to make decisions that will serve for the betterment of the city of Riverton. We say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Would the deputy city clerk please conduct roll call?
Yes, Your Honor. Councilwoman Carla Borders.
Here.
Councilman Tim Hancock.
Here.
Councilwoman Rebecca Schatza.
Here.
Councilman Kyle Larson. Here. Councilman Corey Rhoda.
Here.
And Mayor Richard Gard.
Here. The chair would entertain a motion to excuse Councilman Bailey.
So moved.
Moment.
Second.
Motion by Councilwoman Schatza and second by Councilman Rhoda. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion passes. I declare a quorum is present. The chair would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
A motion by Councilwoman Schatza,
Second.
second by Councilwoman Borders. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Motion passes. The consideration of a public hearing consideration of Resolution 1414, adopting the fiscal year 2021 budget. City Administrator's report, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. Pursuant to Wyoming State statute and the requirements of the City of Riverton, the fiscal year 2021 budget is hereby proposed for council consideration and recommendation of approval from staff. The necessary public notifications have been taken care of, so we are compliant. The development of the 2021 budget, as we've talked about before, has been taking place since early March. There was a presentation a longer presentation than this previously that went over some of the details at the time you were provided the budget. The budget this year is $26,687,530. Of this, $10,839,036 is from capital expenditures. Debt service accounts for $244,116 of this. Since the time of publication and the like, we did receive the one question, which was from actually the last council meeting, and Councilman Larson did ask a question about sales tax. At the time, we had received the March numbers, which were up, and we did discuss that. We have since that time received the April numbers, which we collect in June. At this point, sales tax for that month came in $10,260 high over projection. With use projection was $138,597. And use tax, so we have sales and use. Use tax also finished higher at $7,839 for a total of $18,099 for that month, higher than projected. And overall, we did finish the year ahead of projection. So that with that information, that was the one question we had, and we were very pleased to report it.
According to the weekly report, the mineral royalties were also up by 34,000 over projection.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
With that, it is The budget is recommended for your adoption. We are happy to answer any questions following the public hearing, and we'd stand for any questions at that time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would the deputy city clerk please read the resolution number 1414 by title only, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Proposed resolution number 1414, a resolution providing for the 2020-2021 budget for the city of Riverton for the fiscal year beginning the first day of July 2020 and ending the 30th day of June 2021 inclusive.
Thank you. The chair would entertain a motion to open public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Councilwoman Schatz has the motion, and the second is Councilwoman Borders. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passed. I now declare a public hearing open. The public hearing will be conducted in accordance with state law and other applicable laws. I would ask those individuals wishing to address the council to approach the podium. Identify yourself for the record. Seeing none, what do you think we should do?
I would move to close the public hearing, Your Honor.
Second.
We have a motion by Councilwoman Schatz,
Second.
and I think we got a second from Councilman Hancock. Got to be faster, Kyle. Further discussion? No discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Motion passes. The chair would entertain a motion to approve resolution number 1414.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilman Hancock and a second by Councilwoman Schatz. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. The motion passed. So let's just adjourn. That excited Kyle. The rest of them didn't think I was going to do it, but Kyle really thought I could do it.
Your Honor, we concur.
Somebody called Councilman Bailey and stop him from changing his clothes.
I don't know that he usually does.
No, I was just,
Your Honor,
yes.
not so quick.
Oh, good.
We have heard on the television about defunding our police department. Nobody has brought up that question. I wish to bring that up. I feel that the Department of Protecting, watching over us, I feel is an essential and key element of the statutes in Riverton. There are many ways to save money. There are many ways to patrol and keep safe, but I think our current situation is far beyond allowing that to occur. I feel our present budget for police protection is adequate, and we need to support them. And I think it would be a folly to say, let's save money by reducing the presence of police in the area of Riverton. I cannot say enough for the way they've handled City Park, the trails, the load that you threw at them. And I wholeheartedly feel that we need to support them every way we can. Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle. Appreciate that. Seeing the opportunity for a short meeting is a great idea, except for the fact that we have a heavy budget. I believe the work that's been done on the budget is correct. I have one question that I would like to put forth. I think I know the answer to it, but we've projected low because we thought we needed to be there, and we may have to continue to be there. And so I just want the public to understand that if our revenues continue to maintain and we're able to have surplus, what is staff's intent to do with that surplus?
Your Honor, if that situation arises, we would bring it back to you with recommendations and additional discussions. We did project, because we start in March, because we have no idea what it's going to look like, and honestly, nobody really did, we were conservative. If we keep on track, as the mayor suggested, what we would do is bring that back with potential funding changes throughout the year. And we would have a discussion at that point about what the revenues are versus expenditures, what those trends are. That what we're looking at right now, we are very happy with seeing the June numbers. We're very, because the estimate 2 months ago when we were having these conversations was scary. But with that being said, we would hope to try to figure out after a couple months what the trend is. Is it keeping with trend, or is there something very different? That way, when we come to you, we can say, hey, this has really followed historical trend regardless of anything else that has happened, and here's what we project. So let's start talking about some prioritization of some things as that comes in. That gives us the ability to adapt slowly, and then we have that conversation again if need be, and say, okay, well, we can move these projects forward. We'll have recommendations at that time, but we will be happy to modify it as you see fit.
Thank you. I also have, my mind's drawn to a problem, and I think in the weekly report, Kyle Butterfield did a wonderful job with the task at hand. The airport is very important to us. If we don't want to turn out to be just a rural Wyoming community, we need to maintain that airport. And it comes at a great expense. We all realize going through the budget what it costs us to have an airport. And it doesn't cost us. We're just 7 individuals that were lucky enough to get the opportunity to represent the people of Riverton. And yet, we see retraction from our funding partners as to the depth of their willingness to fund the airport. And Kyle has gone above and beyond, and along with that, the FAST members, to try to hold that funding, and I appreciate that. I think it's really important that we continue to press forward on that and make sure that we fund that, and if we need to, and during this time that the airplane is not being used fully, the steps that you've taken to cut back to once a day usage and those things are going to be helpful. But what we really need to do is maintain with the people that we talk to and the citizenry of Riverton and Fremont County that if we want to be something more than a rural agricultural center, we need to maintain that airport. And it comes at an expense. We're not supposed to be pro or con when we're on the table, but we need to look forward. The state legislature is not funding us the way we need to be funded. They're retracting, and we're not getting the funds. With that said, though, when it comes to the airport, they're putting in 60% of the money, the state is, to keep the airplane flying. And it's up to the Fremont County delegation to make sure that we pull our weight on the other side of that and keep that plane in the air. We have a really good usage of that airplane. In February, we were up to 900, almost 1,000 passengers, right? And so that we need to get back to that. And I'm here to point out, Kyle's been trying to do that. Wyoming people are resilient, and we've had a problem with this COVID-19, and it's stymied some of what we do, and yet it appears our revenues are holding, and we're able to take care of business, and I'm really proud of how we've gone back to work in Fremont County. And there's a few places that lag, don't get me wrong, there's a few spots that we can't seem to push forward. And unfortunately, some of those are government offices. I would like to thank our staff for being willing to open up the facility and let people back in to do business. The staff's been kind enough to present to me a report of how many people use the building. And I do appreciate that, and it's interesting to me to see how the usage happens in the building. We've been able to open the building. We have nobody here tonight, which is maybe disappointing when you're talking about spending $26 million. They must trust us, right? We can console ourselves with the fact that they must have no complaints with the way the building department, the roads and highways, the accounting that we do, all of the clerk work that takes place in our facility must be doing a pretty good job. But with that said, this is a really large budget, and I don't take it lightly. I do see this airport as someplace that we really need to concentrate, and I would commit my support to that, to try to help in any way you see fit to tell me to go to work, to try to make sure that we don't turn into just a rural agricultural community in the middle of the state of Wyoming. The other thing that when I come back to the general fund, we have, I think all of our sewer and water, we do a real good job of that. And that Mia probably deserves a large swipe of the credit there. Also, the council, we passed we bit the bullet and passed a increase in those funds. And those funds are stable, and we're going to be able to do what we need to do in the future. We have some aging facilities, and we have employees that are worried about those aging facilities, and we've done a pretty good job in this budget to take care of that. The water treatment plant is not fully funded. They could probably use $800,000, but they're pretty well funded in this budget, and so I appreciate that. But if we do get surplus, we need to know where that surplus raises its head, and we need to spend it correctly on city services. And I just want to make sure that at least I get that opinion out. I've been through the book. It's kind of boring reading. But maybe Tony should liven a few things up with some
Pictures.
some paragraphs, pictures.
We were going to do pop-ups, but I'm not any good at origami, so
Next year.
So
I'll work on that.
It's fairly dry reading, but I would like to say, if we handled things extremely poorly, I think we would have people in the audience. And so I think it's a credit to the staff and to the council that we take care of business well. And so we need to continue to do that. I am also driven to where Kyle's at. I think it's absolutely ludicrous to think that we don't need our police department. Our police department functions extremely well. To say that they're perfect would be a reach. Somebody stole our chief, and we got a captain tonight, and we're glad to have him. And so if anybody sees our chief, send him back our direction. But we're fortunate to have a police department that is as well-funded and as well-staffed. What are we down? 3 positions? 4 positions? Mid-year, we thought we were fully funded for 36 hours or something, right?
Yes.
That we had full staff.
First time in 20 years, Your Honor.
Yeah, first time in 20 years. And what I would like to point out is that is an extremely difficult, hard job to be a policeman. There's very seldom a time when somebody thanks you for being a policeman. And I would like to tell all of our officers, we have 30 plus. How many people in that division?
Roughly,
Yes.
Right at that.
pretty close.
Our dispatchers, all of those people, thank you very much for the work that you do. And we can't live without you. And if you're listening to television, that's not my opinion. And it's not Councilman Larson's opinion, and I think it goes for the rest of us, that we need our police department. And we're ready to fully fund our police and stand behind our police, and we appreciate what they do for us. And so I think that's an important statement in today's world. And I would welcome any other comments by any of the other staff. We got a few minutes. We don't have to go home immediately. Our wives and husbands will wonder what we're doing.
I would just like to concur with you and Kyle. I think in today's day and age, I don't think our police get nearly the credit that they deserve. 98% of them are very good people, and I think it's sad that a few bad apples kind of ruin it for everybody else. But I want to voice my support for the police. I think it's very important.
Thank you. If we don't have any other, Tim, you have something?
I agree. I've said it before. I could say it again today, but I know that a lot of people have been thinking a lot about how police officers are doing, what their role is, rethinking all of that. But I mean, the reality is you don't just get to sit there and say we don't need police. The frustrating thing is just how much society demands of our police officers. I mean, people expect them to be babysitters for kids sometimes, expect them to, function in a medical capacity frequently. We have police officers occasionally having to literally put out fires, just with an extinguisher or something. But, I mean, but the reality is there's so much that's being asked of the police, so it's not the time to say we need them less. But I think I have the opportunity to work with all of the officers here. My kids always laugh whenever I go anywhere. If I see any of our local law enforcement, I always wave and I know who they are, and they're like, how do you know them? I literally see them regularly. I talk to them on the phone. I see them in court. I'm in a good way. But we have a good bunch of people that work here in Fremont County. They are not perfect by any stretch, but they are people that I think you can trust, and I think that's what's important. So,
Thank you. Any other comments?
I would just concur, again, to reiterate the same thing. It's hard for people to understand, I think, what the 9 to 5 would be like for a police officer, and I can't say I do myself, but I would just extend our thank yous to you guys and let you know we are fully supportive.
With all that said, I don't think that we have any other use of your time this evening. So I would, unless there's someone opposed, I would put forth that we should adjourn, and we're going to adjourn at 5:55 if there's no objections. Is there any? Thank you.